Okay. Well, welcome back, you guys. This is our fifth week, right? Wow. Is it going fast?
Already?
Wow. I think so. I think so. I know, it's crazy. But I just wanted to say and start out, just sharing with you guys my amazement at your just trust for one another, your sharing, how beautiful it is that you're just opening your heart and just really expressing yourself beautifully. I am just so proud of you. I've done this two other times before and led a couple groups, and I am just seeing a really deep connection with you guys forming, and it's really beautiful. So if you haven't been participating in that sharing this, especially this past week, please start. Please be in it, because you guys only get this opportunity once. And this really is an arena for you guys to really practice that trust, practice that, building of relationship and engaging with each other and really opening yourself up. And then you're going to find the more that you do it here in this arena and within Voxer, that you guys are going to have this relationship for the whole year. So just keep that in mind. I know it's a busy, busy time for a lot of people, but see what you can do to find the time, okay? But just wanted to just say how much you guys have really blessed me, and your listening and your sharing and your ideas, and it has just been awesome. And so we are going to have Jackie, you're going to be doing the timing, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. And Susan, I asked if you would review the ground rules for us. Oops, you're muted.
I'm not showing myself muted.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, I wasn't talking loud enough.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, our ground rules: honesty with self and others, open reflection and feedback, patience, be present and share authentically, and no judgment.
Yes. You guys are doing a great job with that. Okay, thank you. Always good to be reminded and refreshed. Appreciate that, Susan. Okay, so we are going to jump into talking about your brave acts and checking in here. And this will be like a 15-minute window. I do have to be off at 3, you guys. I got to jump on another call this time, okay? But we're one less person, so that, that might keep us moving a little bit too. Okay, so how are you doing with stepping up bravely and inviting into your team and helping team members do the same? After all, our mission is about health and wealth. Our success lies just beyond our comfort zones. So let's share honestly, how are you doing with your brave acts? And who would want to go first? We're going to be, if you could remind us of your commitment that you made, but then also let us know how things are going with that.
I'll go, but I'm trying to remember, this is bad, but my commitment, I've really just been so focused on getting out of my own head a little bit. And the good news is I think it's working. Yeah. I've even just today, I had a friend come over. She's a decorator and she's a friend and she's going through a lot of stuff herself. And I just said, you should really think about coming to some of our team meetings and join. I've helped her as a health coach. We're actually bartering right now. Long story short, I would have never said that before. And she's open to it. She'd be a great team member. So that was just today. I feel like every day I'm building on things that I wasn't building on before. But I don't really have like a huge, even yesterday when the promotion came out for the Express sales coordinator, like there's a person on my team that she's very capable of becoming. I think she wants to be a sales coordinator really bad. So we spent on Voxer a good 45 minutes coming up with a strategy for her. Like things like that are just, I feel like there's stuff happening every day that wasn't really happening before. And I don't feel like I'm being very brave yet, but I think I probably am. And I just don't, like when I sit here and think about it, I am. But I'm still waiting for that one big brave act, So I don't know. That's not a very, well, there's my answer.
Do you feel like you're wanting to step out deeper? Like this might be your week to really come up with like a deeper brave act, or do you see yourself stepping in more bravely?
I see myself already stepping in more bravely. I think I'm giving myself more permission now than I was before. Okay. And I'm also realizing in order for things to happen, they're not going to happen unless I take these steps.
Right.
Even becoming more vulnerable within my own team. I did that. We had a team meeting. It was very casual on Tuesday. And I got into tears. And one of the girls was sitting across the table. She goes, last thing I expected at this lunch was for Shelly to get into tears. And I wanted to be over there and be like, I was just vulnerable. You didn't, like, come on. Like, I think people just don't see me that way. And when I do it, they're looking at me like, whoa, how, and I'm just struggling with some stuff, but it's good. It's all really good.
Oh, that's incredible. So it sounds like the mindset shifts.
Yeah.
Have been happening, but you're comfortable with it in a way.
Yeah, I am. And it needed to. It really did.
Good. Any comments, you guys?
It was a great share. I mean, I could.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you get
feel
that?
it.
I mean, that is within you. It's within all of us, but you're stepping into what's there.
Yeah.
But we have fear that holds us back. But now you're giving yourself permission to just believe more and to trust more.
And I'm thinking about it like the arena. Like I feel like I feel like I was in the arena before, but I was just kind of on the sidelines helping everybody else. I was more like a stagehand, and now I feel like I'm actually part of the show. Or I'm starting to get a part in the show.
That is so
great way to put it. That is really
Great.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. You're no longer like one foot in the sideline, or, on the seats,
Yeah. I mean, I'm not full in yet. I'm working my way towards that, but
yeah,
I see some changes, some good ones.
Good. And keep challenging yourself. Like what might be that deeper brave act? And just keep yourself challenging, and you're going to continue to just really, really grow and embrace, that journey. So who else would like to share on this one?
I have been working more, a little bit on my own kind of frontline prospects, but I've got 2 people on my team that I'm kind of working a little bit more with. And so I've got one who, like, this is like she's about to have that breakthrough moment, I think. That belief in the product is there. She struggles a little bit with her confidence in terms of what to say, and not, she's a researcher. Like she can read that research and understand it and not be able to communicate it to anybody else. But just talking to the average people about this, she's she's starting to get a lot more comfortable with it. And she's somebody that's really struggled with, she'll get a couple of orders and then nothing for like 2 or 3 months, and a couple of orders and just cannot get that 2,000 plus together. And she finally got her cousin's girlfriend, I don't know, somebody, to finally get on the product, as she's been really, and this new customer has really been struggling with all kinds of, can't even work. She has so many health issues. And she has just like exploded on our customer care page, how excited she is about the product and this and that. And she lives not far from us, about an hour and a half. And so I told my team member, I was like, look, we need to go and feed off of this excitement that she has. Let's go to her house. Let's have an event. Let's see if we can do something with this. Of course she's like, no. She lives in a small town. There's 500 people. I'm like, so I don't care. That doesn't matter. You can't fit 500 people in your house. Like that would be the only problem I see, right. And so she finally was like, okay, well, I'll ask her. And so she did. Well, now, like, she's been sharing all about Juice Plus, about, she shared the webinar that they just did last Sunday, like pretty much working the business and not even really knowing anything about the business. And so we're going Sunday, and we're going to do kombucha health workshop there this weekend. And so, now, my team member is starting to see her confidence, and, because I keep telling them, like, you need a team member so you're not having to do all the work yourself, kind of thing. And so I see her little groups, I see that starting to develop. And then there's one of her customers that keeps sending her, keep sending our customers all the time. And we've talked about the business, but, because she hasn't really gotten any team members yet, I don't know that she's knowing really what to say to them. So she's agreed to a 3-way with myself and then my upline NMD tonight. So, and especially with this new, sales coordinator thing that just came out. And then I have another one. I'm actually her wellness coordinator, but she's actually one of my VFs that got me into SC. But she's not, I never really thought of her as someone that's really building it. But all of a sudden now she is starting to have that belief in the product and talking about it a lot more. Yeah. So I feel like a lot of my Brave Acts is really working with some of my other people that are really kind of starting to come into their own as well.
Yeah. Was it a Brave Act with her that initially got her going?
Yeah.
So that your Brave Act kind of led to this snowball.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Exciting. Good.
Yeah. So, and I've got a couple little things that, we're kind of getting the ball rolling on, that for this week coming up, I should be able to do more for my own frontline. It just last week seemed to be a lot more working with my own team, and kind of developing those, visions for themselves that they didn't know that they had. And it's only because then I got more of a vision that I could help them have more of a vision.
Right. How did it go with doing 3 Brave Acts? Do you feel like you were able to solidify 3 that were?
I think I probably got 2 really good ones. And then another one that, we kind of scheduled it this week, but it's not going to be till tomorrow. So,
okay.
I don't know what week you want to count that for. So.
Yes. Yeah. So start like right after this call. You want to make sure you've got your ideas flowing and setting up those calls. But that's awesome. Yeah. It's so fun when like your bravery leads to powerful things happening. And it's not always going to. Sometimes we're brave and we're putting ourselves out there and we still, hit something that's, we wish the door would open and it doesn't. So it's not like a guarantee, but I'm telling you, you will attract a whole lot more people, by walking in that courage. So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Who else would like to share something on this one?
I can go ahead.
Uh-huh.
I had a couple different ones. One just really quick. It had to do with my personal training. And a couple of other trainers know that I'll squeeze people in, but I said no. So that was good. Because I'm really finding with this and getting braver and really working the business more, and I'm part of Team Z boot camp, so I have success partner with that, which keeps me super busy. I'm finding my personal training getting a little bit in the way.
I'm like, how does that feel? Does it feel good that you have so much?
It felt good saying no, because one of the trainers gave me the girl's name and number, and I just gave her right back to her, and I said, I have no time. I can't do it. And she's like, I'm like, I can't do it.
Yeah. Well,
So
there's
like
boundaries. That's part of the braving is having those boundaries. So.
And then my other brave acts was a girl I reached out to, didn't know her on Facebook. My oldest told me about her. She's down in Florida. She was originally from Maine. She has, quite a story, and she's personal training, and now she's going around and being an inspirational speaker. So I just sent her a friend request. She accepted it. And then I went through the Team Z script that we have, and we've been chatting every day. And I normally would not do that. I may send her a friend request and then just follow her, and that would be it. But we've been going back and forth since this weekend talking, and I'm just waiting for her response. Because my national marketing director is in Florida right now, and she's doing a talk tonight to see if she can go and to attend to it. So for me, that was pretty brave for talking to us, sending a friend request to a stranger and asking questions, seeing what we have in common. And then, she's like, what else do you do besides personal training? And I just said, I work for a health food company. And she's like, oh, which one? And I said, have you ever heard of it? And she she did. So, I mean, for me, that was really brave to reach out to sort of a stranger. Because like I said, I would just maybe follow her and watch some of her workout videos and, oh, that's cool. And so that was probably my big brave. I have some other small ones, but for me, that was my big brave act. And also saying no, because I don't say no. God, it felt so good.
Good for you. And sometimes that is very brave, because if you're one of those people that just give in and say yes and, you know, keep saying yes, and all of a sudden you're crashing and burning. I forgot who was talking about that on Boxing.
That was me.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what my entire thing is all about today.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And it's easy to
Because
do.
I find that, and this has happened different times, and then I get sucked back in because my upline told me that when your business really starts moving, if you have another business going, that's going to start booming too and start sucking you in. And it happens every time. When I get my Juice Plus business going, then I have people messaging and asking me to train them. And then I'm like, okay, well, I can squeeze them in there. Well, I can do that. And then it's just taking more time with, you know, the Juice Plus business, or what I really, really want to be doing.
Mm-hmm. So you do want the business of Juice Plus to grow and less of your personal training?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that'll be kind of
I don't want to be training 17 people and 20 people a week anymore.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's good to know that. That's good that you can move from that and just you know, be super clear. Keep enjoying saying no, right? More and more. So good. Jackie, I'm excited for you. Sounds like you have great things going on. And like, it sounds like it's coming from different angles of your life too, which is exciting. How much more time do we have?
1 minute.
1 minute. Does somebody else want to share? Kelly, Susan?
I'll share quickly. I've related to all of them, but Shelly, when you went, I definitely related to kind of feeling like I think my business at the end of the year, I started doing Brave Acts and started doing really putting myself out there a lot more. And so coming into the program, I was talking with my NMD, who's a success partner, and she's like, you've already been doing this, so don't feel like I was trying to be, I need 3 specific Brave Acts. And she was saying my schedule is all Brave Acts. Like, I've been doing a lot of events and a lot of things. She's like, just keep doing them. Just
yeah,
keep going.
Good.
And not overthink it. So we did have, I think last week I was in the middle of the busy week and said on Voxer how a lot of events went really well. We signed up a restaurant, vegan restaurant owner.
I'm just trying to shut it off.
Yeah.
Oh.
I will wrap it up.
You can finish up, Kelly. Go ahead.
Yeah.
But so we have a new distributor on our team who's actually, like Joe Don said, I've been doing a lot with my team that aren't as active, but one of my team is who brought this restaurant in, and we did an event there, and he bought a Tower Garden and wants to be a distributor. And so it's really enlivening her, and it's encouraging her to do some Brave Acts. So I'm kind of stepping into more of that modeling of, okay, we can do this together, and helping some team that haven't been doing a lot to do Brave Acts.
Okay. That's exciting. Sounds like that was a great event. A lot of good things from it.
We already met and scheduled. He's going to do a monthly event there. So every month we have something different. The next one's a smoothie prep party where he's going to order all the stuff and people just pay to come and go home with the bags of frozen fruits and veggies and things.
Yeah.
Awesome. And our powder, hopefully, as samples.
Yeah. Well, I love that your success partner said that you're constantly braving and, you know, being out there. So that's great. And just keep stepping into it. But that just shows that you are hungry for it and ready for it and wanting change. And, you know, it just sounds like your why is strong. So congratulations on that.
Thanks. I do think this course is coming at a place of I'm definitely ready. I'm like, let me just do it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know. And it's nice that it's just for you guys coming out of into the new year, and I don't know about you, but I cannot wait until January hits. I'm just so ready. I'm so tired of the holidays. I mean, I love the holidays, but I'm ready for action by January. I just am. And not my team, not everybody on my team, that's for sure. But okay, so we'll move on. Susan, if you don't mind sharing your brave acts on Voxer, that would be great. Okay.
Will do.
Okay. Okay, so trust is such an important issue. Brene devotes an entire lesson to it. Trust will make or break relationships, and trust will make or break teams. The most successful teams and organizations share a high level of trust, and that breeds loyalty. If we look at how leaders feel about Jay Martin, that high level of trust is one of the reasons for the success of the Juice Plus company over the last 48 years. So let's look at the 7 elements of trust one by one. Consider each one from the perspective of how you trust others and how others trust you. And I asked Susan to read these for us.
Okay, I'm just going to go over what they are, what their intention is. B, boundaries. It's when you know what's okay and what's not okay. And if you don't know, you ask. Reliability. Say what you're going to do and then do it. Accountability. When something goes wrong, you don't blame someone else, you own it. And it's also the courage to hold others accountable at the same time. The vault. That was a little interesting to me. Confidentialities, what that came down to. And I understand this. It's hard to say, hard for me to say it because she had such fabulous examples of confidentiality problems, but just being able to share, if you're trusting in a trusting relationship with someone, you don't take what you have going on with them to others, and you don't bring to them what others have shared with you. It's a two-way situation. And that makes total sense to me. I had never really thought about confidentiality in a two-way street before. Okay, sorry. Integrity, choosing courage over comfort, or what's right over what's fun, fast, or easy, and practicing your values and not just professing them. N is for non-judgmental, and no real description of that except that she talked about why we judge and who we judge and how we pick someone doing worse than we are in a particular area where we are most susceptible to shame. So true. Generosity, the assumption of positive intent. Basically, it's about giving someone the benefit of the doubt. And she also put it, extend a hypothesis of generosity. That's a fancy way to put it. But I loved all of those. I thought they were great.
Yeah, thank you so much. I feel like the generosity could change our whole lives. If we could just assume the positive and the best of everybody. That's huge right there. And also going back up to the vault of confidentiality, I have a note here under that there are times where it's a difference between gossiping, but also getting wise counsel. And you just have to have discernment about, like, if you're going to your national marketing director about something, it might be that you need to talk about an issue. And that's not gossiping, but it's trying to seek wisdom about a situation. So there are those times where you might need to do that, but for the most part, do you understand the difference there? Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Mm-hmm. Like I did some coaching with Catherine Lee for a while, and I just felt like I had an issue that it almost lent itself to me talking about who that was for a reason that was, I don't, won't get into, but so that would be just seeking wise counsel and, a little bit more specifically. So, okay, so there's so much here, obviously, but braving could be the foundation of rules of engagement for every single team. So what if we were conscious and mindful of these 7 elements of trust in all of our relationships? Let's open up the discussion about anything that might have resonated with you or stood out to you. Anything that really stood out?
Well, I thought, I mean, to me, just about all of them did, but the boundaries was something that I have never really thought about it, and I'm not very good at. Setting my boundaries, making sure people understand what they are. I'm probably better at overthinking someone else's boundaries. Guessing that this is the boundary, and I should ask them more often what the boundary is if that's what it comes down to. But I don't share mine, and then I find myself in a position later of sometimes resentment because they've stepped over a line that I wasn't comfortable with.
Right. That's really important. And as you guys keep growing your teams, it's going to be really important, the boundary part of it. I had a woman that came on, and she was, well, I don't know if it mattered so much her culture, but she was from another country and no boundaries whatsoever, and would call me all the time, and I never would answer. We use Voxer, and just, she got really mad. I mean, she said, I thought this was all about relationships, and, just skewed everything. And it was terrible. So boundaries are going to be really important, because now she went away for a while and now she's back again, and she totally respects boundaries. So it was something that it was a really hard lesson for her, but needed and necessary. So anything else on this list here that comes to mind that maybe you see on your team, maybe you wish was a little bit more solid on your team?
For me, the boundary piece, I realize in most of my life, I'm pretty good with boundaries, but as boundaries might need to change, that's then when things get a little bit more complicated. So I'm realizing in this business, I set up certain boundaries when I was small and not growing as much, and kind of, you're in that place of, oh yeah, come on, I'll help you with this. And all that came on my team that don't do much. And like just today, my distributor said, I just got an email that my stuff shipped. Can you help me with this? But she's a distributor and isn't even checking to see that she has orders coming.
Oh.
And so I realized, like, when she first came on, I did help and would look at my team reports, and I was really good about like giving a heads up to people, like, remember, if you haven't checked in with your business in a while, you have a couple people coming up to ship. And I haven't done that. I've been so busy in the last 2 months. I have not really been doing that. Most of my people have stepped up to do it. And then this will happen. And I'm like, okay. I did respond to her more. You can call the company on your own. You should be getting email notifications, and you should be able to see in your report that you have stuff coming up.
Yeah.
And here's how you take care of that, if not. But I realized I set it up that way, and so they're kind of in that place. I didn't expect that accountability at the beginning, so I have to do that now for sure.
Yes, definitely. Very important. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else have something? Not really? Oops, I can't hear you, John.
There we go. Certainly the boundary thing, we talked about that. I definitely take on more than I need to, and definitely get overwhelmed not very quickly, but after a while. That balance with not asking for help is not a good combination. But I did actually, I guess one of my brave acts, not really involving my, sales or my NMD, but I did ask for help this week. All of us kind of in our bigger Shooting Stars team have all of us kind of fast tracking to senior sales coordinator. We're kind of put in these quart of threes, and it's kind of like a pod, similar situation where we kind of play ideas off of each other and encourage each other. And, what are you doing? What are I doing? And one of the areas in my business that I'm struggling with is converting a regular customer to a raving fan. And because I was trying to go through my customer line when that, information came down about the promotion, like, okay, who do I have on my, customer line that, we can maybe transfer over. And I feel like I do a great job checking in and doing a lot of customer care, but having that conversion of customer to raving fan. And so, I reached out, I was like, hey, look, this is an area that I'm struggling with and I need some help. And fortunately, one of the other girls, she's amazing at customer care. And so, I've been able to ask for help. And I'm trying to get a couple of extra things off my plate here, which will hopefully mean that I will be able to have some more time to really focus on much more important activities.
Yeah, good. It was interesting, wasn't it, when she was saying...
Oh, I can't hear you now.
Oh, can you hear me?
Oh, there we go.
Okay. I thought it was interesting when she was saying that if you don't ask for help, that people don't trust you.
Yeah.
You're trying to be this independent leader, and
that was like a sword in my heart.
Yeah.
Very convicting.
Yeah, it really was for me too when I first heard that. How are we on time? You okay, Jackie?
Yeah, we have 5 minutes.
Oh wow. Well, we could probably catch some later if you guys don't have anything else you want to talk about in this area.
I've got one thing to say.
Yeah.
Thinking about reliability, I think it's one of my strengths, but lately I feel like it's gotten to where people rely on me so much they don't rely on me anymore. Like it's a strength that's turning itself into a weakness.
Say that again, so people.
So like if you're like, I feel like I've been that person that if they're like, oh, Shelly will do it, we know she'll get it done. We ask, and I get asked to do stuff a lot of times that I don't think other people get asked to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes it annoys me, but I'm working on saying no, but I'll say yes. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do it. And that means I'll do it. But it's gotten to the point where I've said yes so many times that I'm not reliable anymore because I just can't get it all done.
Oh.
That was just something that that was one that I struggled with because I was like, yeah, that's definitely one of my strengths. But then I was like, but wait, that strength is now turning into a weakness. And I've got to be careful. I've got to use my integrity to be able to keep my reliability a strength.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that I hope I'm talking in
so
circles, but
you're willing to do and to take on things, but then you take on so much that people might see that.
Yeah, because like, for example, this isn't with my Juice Plus business, but like I'm the health and wellness coordinator at my kid's school and I do a health tip every other week in the school newsletter, but I haven't been doing it lately.
Yeah.
And no one's going to like be mad at me, but they expect me to do it and I just haven't been doing it, which is bad. That's not like me at all. But the reason I'm not doing it is because people are relying on me for so many other things.
Well, I was going to say, I think they're all so interrelated. And I was going to say the same thing. When we get maybe boundaries suffer, then it impacts everything else. So it's really boundaries that is your place to work. And then when you set better boundaries, you can be really reliable on all the things you say yes to. And I'm saying that because I was thinking about the same thing. Funny, was at my school today as the health and wellness committee. We did a big salad bar for the entire school, 500 kids, all through lunches. And I went shopping last night and got everything and chopped everything myself without doing it because it was just easier. Because the committee didn't set up a sign-up sheet. It just got so last minute that to tell people last night everyone should go to the store, it just seemed like one person should just get it done. And I just did it. But a little bit, I had the time, so I was able to.
I think you're freezing up, Kelly. Can you guys hear her?
No. It's frozen.
Well, Kelly, if you can hear us, you're frozen.
And if you turn your video off, that will usually help your connection.
Yeah, I think we've got to be careful, guys, because I think it makes us feel good when we say yes and we're stepping into leadership and we're stepping into this and we're saying, some of that really can come from us not feeling adequate. We got to just really know where that's coming from. And, you know, we don't want it to be all about putting a Band-Aid of, you know, whatever it might be, of saying yes. And then our businesses suffer, then our families suffer, then so much is going to happen. So yeah, so this is really, really good to just contemplate and just see kind of the balance of it all, and where you might be weaker than others. You could even do a rating of 1 to 5, and, you know, how strong do you think this is for you? So it would be really worth, you know, contemplating that more if you haven't already done so. Okay. Okay. I think we're going to go on, Jackie.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So we are going to move into Brené's concept of rumbling. And I'd like for each of you to share about your rumbling experience, and be mindful not to mention names or identifying information. Just tell us 3 things. What did you get out of the experience? What do you feel you did well? And in what way would you like to improve?
What was the last thing?
What way would you like to improve?
Okay.
So Kelly, are you with us?
I think so. Can you hear me now?
Okay, you could turn off your video if you want. It might be taking up too much of your Wi-Fi.
Okay. Yeah, I am. I was starting to say, and I think I got cut off, that's why I'm in my car, because I was at the school for so long that I didn't get home in time.
Okay, well, thank you.
So it might be stressing that.
Yes, yes.
So okay. Turn off the video and it's better.
Yeah, I think it usually is. Yeah, it takes a little bit less. Okay, so we're sharing about the Rumble. 3 things. What did you get out of the experience of doing the Rumble? What did you feel went well? And in what way would you like to improve? Who would like to share?
Okay, I will.
Okay, thank you.
I found this very difficult because I had trouble determining a person, an individual, and that's what she kind of was angling at, a person, one individual, not relationships in general. And so that's what I was trying to go for. And I had trouble because almost every one of the 7 elements, it's like I started thinking about someone else instead. I couldn't keep my focus on just one person through the whole thing that I felt I could apply all these things to. My part of it, I felt I could deal with my strength and opportunities for growth, but I did narrow it down to one person for the most part. Okay. And I think what I got out of this was the idea, exactly what we should have. I think that it's a two-way street, that what I am bringing to it, someone else is bringing from the other side, and I've got to be able to meet that person and understand my weakness and what their weakness is. So that's what I felt good about, but it was a struggle. And I guess that goes for what went well and what didn't go well too.
So you didn't actually talk to somebody, like have a conversation with somebody?
I know. Were we supposed to actually have a conversation?
Did you guys?
No.
Okay.
Oh, it was all imaginary to me, based on knowing that person.
Yeah.
I misunderstood then.
But yeah, so that's totally fine. It's just helpful to see when you actually do it with somebody, and it might be in the deep dive that you actually do it. That's
I didn't do it either.
Yeah, I think that might be what it was. But to hear feedback from somebody on each of these areas, and where, they might see some weaknesses or strengths, and you're sharing your side, it's very eye-opening. So did you feel, Susan, that I'm wondering if the fact that there were just maybe a couple of these with certain people, how did you feel about that? Did you feel like there should be someone that you felt like you could have this fully with?
Well, that was the impression I was under. That it says, thinking of your relationship, maybe about one relationship in particular.
Yeah.
So I was trying to narrow it down to one person. And I finally did, but it was a lot of back and forth and everything. And I didn't feel like it was a really smooth answering situation.
Yeah. How would you
But
like
it would be.
Yeah, how would you have liked it to look different? Like how would you have liked it to felt or as you were doing it?
Well, I think like you said, if this was actually a one-on-one, if we really did talk to someone, I probably would apply everything, it's right there in front of you, that person, that individual, but I was trying to think, who do I need to focus on for this exercise?
Right.
So it was totally my mistake.
Okay. No, I don't think it's a mistake, but it's just, it's just like what all came up for you as you were working through it. It sounds like it was difficult. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about somebody else? How did you feel about it?
The person I picked on my team, this was a little hard too for me, thinking like in my business to pick, because she asked you, somebody from your business that you've experienced the setback. I don't know if I would describe it as a setback, but I picked a person and it really came back to me where I felt some areas where I was disappointed in her. And when I did this work, it wasn't with her, it was disappointment in myself.
Okay.
And that was really like not stepping up as a leader and helping her with the tools and getting started. I did a lot, like for a long time, like Kelly had mentioned, I did a lot for her. I would throw events for her over and over and over and helped her, build her business, which was great, but I really wasn't being a leader and using those boundaries that I should have. I was making things duplicatable, where she could duplicate, but I was still like just doing it for her.
Yeah.
So I felt like there was disappointment in her, but when I did this work, it wasn't. It was really more disappointment in myself and not trusting maybe that she could do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's easy
and,
I think go ahead.
Sorry.
No,
and I did, and I'm glad like she's grown and stuck around, but I've actually, through this process, I was thinking, oh my gosh, doing this, I've actually lost 7 downline because of what I've done.
In what way? Because you felt like you kind of handicapped her? How would you describe that?
In the way of doing it for them and not really guiding them and or just guiding them, saying, like Kelly had mentioned, hey, you can actually call the company, or you can actually, I was doing it for them. And I felt they felt things like, okay, this is easy, but my business is not growing like it should, and this is not for me. And then they drop out and don't do it.
Right.
So I was getting disappointed that, okay, they're not really working. Well, they're not working, one, because I'm doing the work for them. And then I'm getting overloaded because, like Shelley mentioned, I'm stepping up and doing too much. And then I'm not being reliable and they're just sitting there. Am I making sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh yeah. I think we definitely
thinking, and then I'm doing this, like I mentioned on Voxer, this piece of trust was like huge. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've lost 7 downline because of what I've done. And that's not like, maybe not like trusting them, or I'm not even trusting totally myself. It's a little bit of both. And all of those pieces, boundaries, accountability. I mean, all of it. I'm just like, when I did this piece, I was like, wow,
Yeah. Well, the beauty of it is, Jackie, is we can stumble forward, right? We just stumble forward. And so we give grace to ourselves, empathy to ourselves. But it's important that we're learning it. We don't want to handicap our team. We don't want to do stuff that they can learn to do on their own. Trust me. Trust me. I mean, the sooner you can get that and make sure that you're empowering rather than doing for them, even though, again, it feels good. Like we were talking about a minute ago, it feels good to like take the initiative and call the company for, So, but that's good. I'm glad you had that insight. And how does that feel to feel like you've kind of broken free of that then, I would say?
I mean, it feels really good. It feels like even a couple of them that have dropped out of the business and it's been a couple of years, I really feel like I could reach back out to them.
Yeah.
I really do. I feel I wouldn't even call it a brave act. I feel like I could do it no problem and reach out to them and talk to them and ask them and even make maybe amends that I guided them not in the right way, but I feel that I not only have the tools, but I have the trust piece and that I really help them. So I do feel that there's some that I could reach out to again.
Well, that's that piece of accountability of like, hey, I didn't serve you well, taking, responsibility for your actions kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's highly respectable.
Yeah, definitely.
I think if you take accountability for your piece, then that lets them take accountability too, because I cringe a little when you say from what you did, you lost them. Some of those people probably weren't going to do the work. And so I think I know myself, out of fear of losing them, step in and do the work for them, but maybe we're never going to do the work. And so like to be okay with that, and maybe timing wise, it just wasn't the right time. But now, as you see, maybe later it could be. And if you're accountable and hold them accountable to doing it, then they'll be able to decide if they want to or not and step in.
Yeah.
That's true. Thank you.
Good. Okay, so, we're talking about kind of what felt like probably a setback for you, a disappointment. Let's take a minute and everybody think about a setback or disappointment that you've had in the business. And just write down really quickly a phrase or a sentence that describes that experience. Everybody have it? Okay. So generosity of self is talking to yourself like you would talk to someone that you really care about, with the same level of kindness and respect. So when you experience this disappointment or setback, did you turn to yourself and say, you gave it your best shot? It's going to be okay. Or did you go straight to berating yourself? It's something to think about and catch ourselves at. With practice, we can be as kind and understanding toward ourselves as we are with the people that we care about. Now, just like we did with the rumbling exercise, let's go around and take 1 minute to share what you got out of this exercise. How do you guys typically respond when you feel like you've had a disappointment, setback, what feels like a failure?
I see it as part of my personal growth. I mean, of course, there's that sense of disappointment there. It's not moving as fast as you want, or it's not, all these different things. But they always say that this is just a personal growth journey, disguised as a business plan. And this is the part of the business that I didn't expect. But for me, it's about that personal growth and trying to take those experiences, so that, when I have a team member that, has a similar situation or something along those lines, or a sideline buddy, I can, share that experience, with them as well.
So initially, when something happens and you're really disappointed, what do you initially do? Do you tell yourself that? Are you able to jump right into that? Give yourself empathy, remind yourself of the personal growth journey, or does it look different?
I think for the most part I am. I think part of it may determine what kind of disappointment it is. For me, it's to get customers, and what I'm in control of is very easy for me. But, trying to get the team, that's the whole line to SSC, is you got to get team to do the exact same thing. And I think, when I was kind of doing this exercise, for me, my setback really wasn't, it was really just kind of not one person, but in general, I don't have a lot of frontline. But it's just knowing that not everyone's going to have that same vision as me, and it's not going to be the same timeline as what I have, and everyone's coming in at a different place.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me not to be like, well, why don't you just get it, like, from the very beginning, like, just hit the ground running like I did. But that's not everybody else's journey. And again, having to step back from that personalization of why they may not be going as fast as I want them to go. And, kind of just like, we talked about, kind of stepping away from that yes or no, and loving everybody where they are. So I know that, my story is going to be shared at some point, and it's going to be important to somebody else at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's good. You're able to shift there quickly. I think that's unusual, but that's great that you're able to find yourself being able to move into just empathy, trust, having that confidence in the journey, right? So good. Who else would like to share on this?
Well, I think over 9 years of being in this business, I have gotten to where Joe Dawn is, to where I can jump into that mode a lot faster now. And it's all been a matter of learning to discipline your disappointments, as they say. That's what it is. You'll only be as hurt. My mom used to say, you can only be as hurt as you allow yourself to be hurt. And it's all about expectations. And you do have expectations. You have hopes. And when something is a fallback, I just learned more and more. And recently, in a bummer situation, that it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't something I did. I really felt like I held up everything I needed to do, but this particular rep just took a different direction, and it was very disappointing. But that's where it is. It was not of my doing, and sometime it might be, but this time it wasn't. And hopefully, I can always bounce back quickly into a good mode, good frame of mind.
Yeah. I think we have to have the courage to give ourselves empathy when we're there, find ourselves there, but then it is a brave act to speak to ourselves like we would a best friend, or, a spouse or a child or whatever that we love and care about so much. We wouldn't berate them like I think we tend to do to ourselves, so it really is a brave act to remind yourselves of your worthiness. So anyone else want to share on this? Kelly, Jackie, Shelley.
I'll just say I think that one thing I got out of this is learning that what may feel like a setback is actually just learning how to deal with working with people, and the reality that it's really, I say this like it's easy, but it's not. Like, the reality is that you have to meet people where they are, and they may not be where you either want them to be or where you think they are. And it feels like a setback. Like, you're like, oh, they didn't come through. Like, you're disappointed. You put in a lot of time into something, and you feel like you're not getting it back. And it feels like you're set back. But I think it's important, after learning about all this, to like think of a setback as just a reality situation and deal with it.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
It is hard. And I think it's okay to be hard. You know, I think that in the hard is when we spend that time contemplating on a lot of what you're learning here. You know, just, I think Catherine always says a setback is a comeback, or a setup for a comeback. And I love that. You know, it's just, you have to take a step back in order to go forward. And it's kind of that process of moving forward to NMD. It really is. And, you know, you start to gain momentum and then maybe it slows down, and it's just being okay with the dance, you know?
It's like, I haven't done this in a long time, but it's like dating, you know?
Yeah.
You go for I remember when I was single, I'd be like dateless for months. And then I'd have like one night, I remember I had 2 dates in one night. I was like, what in the world? Why is this happening to me? It's the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we just have one more minute. I'm just going to go ahead and see. Well, if anybody would like to share just really quickly in the minute, does anyone have anything else with this one? Seems like our time goes so darn fast. I just.
No, I mean, I agree with what everybody says. I think probably even 2 months ago, if I'd have a setback or disappointment, I would definitely get into my head, maybe feel sorry for myself a little bit. And then usually I'd call my buddy, my Juice Plus buddy, or even, you know, my sister to talk it through. And that would always help. But now I'm just pushing. I feel like I'm just pushing right through because, you know, this is all about relationships, and I'm building relationships and really trying to not look at the big outcome and just building those relationships and helping those people that I can that have wants and needs, and let them know I have a solution.
I love it. Okay, well, I am going to just close the call. I'll put on Boxer, just kind of prep for next week and that kind of thing. But thank you guys. You are so awesome. I'm just so grateful and privileged to be with you and hearing your heart and on this journey. So thank you for sharing, and, you know, stuff to just try to find the time to contemplate more and to be able to move into it and make this a part of who you are. The deep dives are going to go even deeper with each of these things. So it's going to be a gift as you dive deeper together. So have a great week, and stay in touch on Boxer. Okay. Very important that you guys are continuing to connect. Okay. Okay. Take care. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good week.